Good day, everyone. Today, we'll know more about car airbags, its benefits, and the harm that will cause. A seminar could be a great informational video. Now, let's watch this.
Hey guys! Have you ever wondered about car airbags, the benefits and how it works? Well, listen carefully as you watch our seminar about car airbags. What is car airbag exactly? Airbags are inflatable cushion built into a vehicle that protects occupants from hitting the vehicle interior or objects outside the vehicle, for example, other vehicles or trees during a collision. Airbags provide additional protection and are best used in conjunction with seatbelts. Frontal and side impact airbags are generally designed to deploy in moderate to severe crashes, but they may deploy in minor crashes as well. Airbags reduce the chance that your upper body or head will strike the vehicle's interior during crash. To avoid an airbag-related injury, make sure you are properly seated and remember, airbags are designed to work with seatbelts, not replace them. The children under 13 should sit in the back seat. The instant a crash begins, sensors start to measure impact severity.
How do airbags work? On October 25, 1999, according to Joseph S. Merola, a chemistry professor and associate dean of the College of Arts and Science at Virginia Tech, offered this explanation. Although we don't usually associate automobiles with chemistry, a lot of chemistry takes place in a working car. The burning of gasoline to run the engine, for example, when chemical reactions in the battery to generate the electricity. Another reaction, one that most drivers would just as soon not experience firsthand, involves the airbag. Airbags are not inflated from some compressed gas source but rather from the products of a chemical reaction. The chemical at the heart of the airbag reaction is called sodium azide, or NaN3. Under normal circumstances, this molecule is quite stable. If heated, though, it will fall apart. The chemical equation 2NaN3 to Na plus 3N2 describes exactly how it falls apart. Notice that the second product of the above reaction is N2, also known as nitrogen gas. A handful of sodium azide will produce 67 liters of nitrogen gas, which is enough to inflate a normal airbag. That's not the only chemistry involved. Notice that the other chemical into which sodium azide falls apart is Na, or sodium. Sodium is a very reactive metal that will react rapidly with water to form sodium hydroxide. As a result, it would be quite harmful if it got into your eyes, nose, or mouth. So to minimize the danger of exposure, airbag manufacturers mix the sodium azide with other chemicals that will react with the sodium and in turn make less toxic bags.
What prompts an airbag to inflate by way of this reaction? There are sensors in front of the automobile that detects a collision. These sensors send electrical signal to a canister that contains the sodium azide, and the electric signal denotates a small amount of an igniter compound. The heat from this ignition starts the decomposition of the sodium azide and the generation of nitrogen gas to fill the airbag. What is particularly amazing is that from the time that sensor detects the collision to the time the airbag is fully inflated in only 30 milliseconds or 0.03 seconds. Some 50 milliseconds after an accident, the car's occupants hits the airbag and its deflation absorbs the forward moving energy of the occupant. There are two types of airbag deployment. First is the frontal airbag and the side airbag. Side airbags. Side impact airbags inflate even more quickly since there is less space between the driver or passengers and the striking object, whether the interior of the vehicle, another vehicle, a tree, or a pole. Frontal airbags. Sitting as far back from the steering wheel or dashboard as possible and use seat belts help prevent drivers and passengers from being too close to the deploying frontal airbags. This is why rear-facing car seats should not be placed in the front of the active airbag, and children under 13 should be seated in the back seat.
Let's proceed to the benefits of the airbags. Airbags are designed to automatically inflate in the event of a sudden deceleration or impact force that would indicate a collision. Once the bag is full of air, it protects a driver and or passenger by increasing cushioning around the neck, head, and spine, decreasing the amount of force impacting a person's head by limiting the distance it can fling forward, decreasing the risk that a victim will project through the window or be ejected from the car. One of the biggest reasons for having passenger airbags is the lower rates you will receive as a result. A driver should see a significant reduction in their premium by having passenger airbags in their vehicle. This is because cars with these airbags see far fewer deaths every year than cars that don't have. Next are the risks. Airbags aren't fully guaranteed to prevent collisions, injuries, or fatalities. In fact, airbag deployment under certain conditions can even cause harm. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration estimates nearly 300 people have died as a direct result of airbags. Here's how. Deployment ignition. Airbags inflate as a result of ignition within the steering wheel that produces nitrogen gas. When the vehicle sensor detects a collision, it sends an electrical signal to a detonator that essentially explodes, producing the nitrogen which fills the bag. In some cases, this explosion can ignite gasoline fumes or other flammable components of the vehicle, placing people at risk for serious burns. Talcum powder residue. For the airbag's nylon fabric to release from the steering wheel with ease, it's coated with talcum powder. When the bag deploys with great force, so does the powder. In some cases, this dust cloud resulted in someone suffering breathing problems, asthma attacks, and other respiratory issues. Inflation force. Airbag deployment can reach a speed up to 200 mph. If your face, chest, or any other body part is too close to the steering wheel when the bag deploys, you could experience severe fractures or internal injuries as a result. Next to risk are injuries and fatalities. Under some rare conditions, airbags can injure and in some very rare instances kill vehicle occupants. To provide crash protection for occupants not wearing seatbelts, there can be common injuries from airbag deployment. Many body parts can be exposed to the airbag, leaving a variety of injuries possible during the process of deployment. While these are some of the most common injuries to occur due to airbags, others are possible. Face injuries. Because of the positioning of airbags, your face is the easiest target during a crash. The airbag prevents your face from coming in contact with the windshield. However, the force of the airbag can strike your eye or fracture fragile bones in the face. Eye damage, including the temporary or permanent blindness, is possible. Contusions may also occur if the impact is strong enough. Chest injuries. In order to prevent your body from being thrown out of the car, airbags deploy very fast and hard. If it collides with your moving body, the chest area may be vulnerable to injury. Broken bones in the chest or damage to the soft tissue are not uncommon. Neck and back injuries, your spine and cervical spines are also vulnerable to the impact of an airbag. While your body is prevented from being thrust forward as it might otherwise, damage to soft tissue can still cause you to suffer from whiplash or other similar car accident injuries as the soft tissue is damaged. Just because you did not notice the traditional jolting movement does not mean you will not need to see a whiplash. chiropractor if you are suffering from stiffness and pain in the back or neck. The chemical at the heart of the airbag reaction is called sodium azide, or NaN3. Crash strip sensors in cars that send an electrical signal to an ignitor. The heat generated causes sodium azide to decompose into sodium metal and nitrogen gas, which inflates the car's airbags. Sodium azide can cause dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and restlessness. At high doses, it causes seizures, hypotension, metabolic acidosis, coma, and respiratory failure. Symptoms occur within minutes of exposure.
Burns. The speed of airbag deployment can cause surface abrasions or burns. The face and arms are most likely to suffer from this. Think about a fabric coming in contact with your skin and suffering from something like rug burn, but as a result of this, internal injuries. The chemicals that release during deployment can irritate the lungs or even cause asthma attacks. The skin can also become irritated, causing a condition known as airbag dermatitis. Additionally, enough pressure on the abdomen can cause damage like lacerations to organs including the liver, spleen, lungs, and heart. In severe cases, internal bruising or bleeding is possible. In order to prevent injuries, your seat should be approximately 10 inches from where the airbag will deploy. However, some injuries will be unavoidable as part of the airbag protection you from more severe consequences. Serious injuries are less common, but severe or fatal injuries can occur to vehicle occupants very near an airbag or in direct contact when it deploys. Such injuries may be sustained by unconscious drivers slumped over the steering wheel, unrestrained or improperly restrained occupants who slide forward in the seat during pre-crash braking, and properly built drivers sitting very close to the steering wheel. A good reason for the driver not to cross hands over the steering wheel, a rule taught to most learner drivers but quickly forgotten by most, is that an airbag deployment while negotiating a turn may result in the driver's hands being driven forcefully into his or her face, exacerbating any injuries from the airbag alone. Improvements in sensing and gas generator technology have allowed the development of third-generation airbags system that can adjust their deployment parameters to the size, weight, position, and restraint status of the occupant. These improvements have demonstrated a reduced injury risk factor for small adults and children who had increased risk of injury with first-generation airbag system.
That's all. I hope everyone learned a lot from our seminar about car airbags. Airbags could really be risky, yet it's safe and can reduce injuries and fatalities. Just be in your proper position and follow orders. Well, there's a lot of information, but I hope you all guys learned with me. That's all. Thanks, guys.